Hello, everybody. Welcome and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger. Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 8 of Holistic True Wealth series in collaboration with Mupo TV, part of Mupo Entertainment. As the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness and a certified holistic wellness coach, I am of the belief we all should be living a life of abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially today. As a certified holistic coach, I am taking a finance-first approach to achieving all-encompassing personal well-being by embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world. I believe exploring diverse paths really opens the door to true wealth in every sense. And as a global ambassador who is representing an innovative company revolutionizing the future in real estate through digital technology, with financial technology, educational technology, AI in the metaverse, I'm deeply committed to empowering individuals and communities worldwide. And my mission really, it goes beyond that business aspect by providing global-minded entrepreneurs and individuals with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so they can circumvent the systems and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. And I'm talking about circumventing those broken and corrupt systems that we've been living in for decades. And it's really about creating those opportunities, providing access, and building a more inclusive and supportive digital world where everyone has a chance to thrive. True wealth is not only about money, it's about the combination of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial fitness. Myself and my special guests that I bring on every episode here are all about bringing awareness around alternative solutions from all aspects of life, leading one towards a path to overall true wealth in a multitude of different arenas. So the mission really is to provide real solutions for real people who are serious about wanting to go from barely surviving to thriving today. So before I bring on my very special guest today, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. For those of you who are interested in this interview series, with the collaboration of Mupo Entertainment, this can be found on Mupo TV, or you can actually download the app on Android or iPhone, which is accessible through those venues as well, because we are in 144 countries, also seen on Fire TV, Roku, and Vimeo. And we will be right back with my very, very special guest today. Okay, so welcome back. Joining us from the other side of the pond in Winchester, Hampshire, England, which is also known as the Cathedral City, which I found out doing some due diligence, is Finn Kellow-Webb. And Finn is married to his beautiful wife, Helen, and he is a dad. He studied physical education at the University of Southampton. And on top of that, Finn is a transformation coach, a world traveler, and a rugby fan and coach. And I'm very, very excited to have him on the show today and to be my special guest, because he has a huge heart for our environment, which we'll be sharing with you today, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. So with that, welcome to the show today, Finn.
Jeff, thank you for that wonderful introduction, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Great to chat to you again, and look forward to chatting some more.
Super. Yes, absolutely. So, and I'm really excited to talk to you today. So before we actually dive into the questions, share with the audience and the viewers here today about who Finn is outside of your teaching career, along as well as with your personal business that you've got going on?
Yeah, gosh. When I think back is I've done so many different things, but essentially my passion has always been in helping people. I think of myself as an educator, not a teacher, and I've had various roles as an educator, both in the school system bit. I've also ran an holistic natural therapy business for 11 years. Teaching people how to connect their mind and their body so they can improve their use, their functioning, their posture, help people with backs and necks. I've done things like work on safaris in Africa.
Oh, wow.
And I've also been involved in a number of sort of businesses, online businesses in Forex and crypto. But my passion has always been to help people, because I've been on a journey for probably the past 12 years now of trying to liberate myself from the internal mental constraints and pressures and obligations and so on. And I realized that my biggest purpose for myself is freedom.
Perfect.
And I think so many people out there are also seeking freedom in whatever guise that may be, whether it's financial or personal or emotional or mental or just location wise. And I think for me to be able to speak to people about going down that journey, going down that pathway is what really fuels me, and to do it in a way that's aligned and synchronized with my own beliefs and passions. So that's a little bit about me.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I totally resonate with you in many respects about that freedom and really taking control of our lives, because I think so many of us, especially, my generation, we grew up learning to go to school, get good grades, and go find a job and be a robot for the rest of your life. And that don't work. So there are other options out there. And unfortunately, I talk about the broken and corrupt systems that are out there that are educating people about this, and not about true entrepreneurship, true self-worth, and a passion for people that want to do something, and they're being put down for thinking that way, and they should be allowed to think whatever way that they want to. So I applaud you for that, and that's why I'm excited to have you on the show today, because there's a lot of things that we do resonate with in regards to freedom. And you talked about, I just learned about the holistic business that you had, which I didn't even know about. So I learned something new about you today as well. So let's, your in your belief around it is within your capacity and potential to be in full alignment and create your ideal lifestyle freedom. So you kind of broach that subject today, but go into a little bit more detail and share with our viewers of what you mean by that, and what you're actually doing from your perspective as a coach, and what you are teaching and educating people on, and sharing visions from your perspective.
Yeah, I think actually to give this a bit of context, let me just rewind back to March 2020 when COVID hit. My 11-year natural therapy business literally stopped overnight, and I, was looking to try and branch out and grow, because it was fairly restrictive in terms of, there were only so many hours in the day that I could see people, and everybody wanted to be an online coach. It was fierce, it was competitive, and I wasn't kind of sure of where I could fit in. And I had a little bit of success building some programs and offering courses and so on. And out of the blue, somebody said, check this out. This is a way to passive income and passive wealth creation.
Right.
And it was completely off my radar, out of my comfort zone. And I just thought, wow, I was struggling financially because I'd lost my business. I was relying on government loans, and really I was at desperate stakes. And I got involved, and I hadn't anything else to do. And I suddenly realized I was building a business that I'd kind of never even thought about. And it gave me a lot of insight. I went on a journey of really understanding crypto, the financial system, decentralization, all of that. And cut a long story short, 2 years, 6-figure business, quite a big team, loved it, and it disappeared overnight.
Wow.
Literally, it shut down overnight, and I was back to square one from COVID again. And I must admit, I was devastated. I felt really personally
sure,
guilty for all the people that had lost money, and I knew my mind had been open to potentials and possibilities and opportunities. So I spent a while looking around, had another one, thought, yeah, this might work, and it didn't. And really had to go back to teaching in a school, because we were at that place where it was go back and get a job. But my heart has always been searching for that way to create freedom, financial freedom, personal freedom. But I wanted to do it with, I wanted to do it by helping others as well, because the more people we can help, the better we feel about ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I suddenly came across something, having looked and searched and tried, and nothing really aligned with my heart, with my soul. And then a friend said, check this out. This is helping the environment. It's making a massive difference, and you can earn from it as well. And I went, really? And I must admit, I'm still here, and I'm hugely, hugely excited about the potential to clean up the environment, help people contribute to that, show them how that can be done.
Right.
It's completely legitimate, above board, transparent, and it's growing at a phenomenal rate. But the most important thing, I've sat and watched from the sides. I've got involved more over time, but I suddenly realized that this is in alignment with so many of my own values and beliefs and philosophies. And the wave is growing, let's put it that way. And it's just been launched in the US, which is hugely exciting. And I'm intent on using this as a freedom pathway to a much bigger freedom purpose going forward, which is a platform and all sorts of other things. But I'm happy to talk about this right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in the second half.
Sure. Yeah.
But you bring some really great points, and you talk about the failures, the successes, and the failures, and that's really part of the journey, because I totally resonate with that. Having gone out and to try to find my own purpose after I left corporate America in 2015, and went through a couple of different rodeos, if you will, and they just didn't work out for whatever reason, multiple reasons. And once you find that one nugget that is like, oh my gosh, this is it, then Pandora's box opens, and the world is at your beck and feet for those that want to jump on board. First of all, learn about it. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the main point of this whole thing is you didn't give up. You didn't crawl back into a hole like so many people do, and which I did way back. And but I've learned through that, and you grow through that journey. But we all have a purpose, and once you find that purpose, you're passionate about it, and nothing is going to stop you from that. So, and a lot of people don't understand the concept of, a lifestyle of freedom, because people, they're just stuck in that world of go to work and come home and, sit on the couch and watch TV for the rest of the night. Share with the viewers who, have heard this or maybe never even heard about it. I'd be shocked that they didn't, but there are some people out there that just aren't resonating with this. But share with that means for you, but also for your family. Because why do I say the family? Because these types of opportunities do start to build generational wealth for individuals, just like those businessmen out there, like the Rockefellers and all of those other guys out there and gals who have a legacy business that is sustaining their families. But share with the viewers.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one of my key drivers is to be able to set an example. And people go, "Oh, set an example." I reached a point where I knew that if I didn't change, I would be passing on that hereditary of mental illness and depression and lack of wealth, that scarcity mindset to my children. And I really, really wanted to break the cycle as well. It was a conscious, physical, emotional kind of crossroads. And that's what drives me. I've traveled the world many, many times. I've been fortunate to live in different countries, interact with many cultures. And that's what I want to be able to share with my family, because we're here for a short space of time. And for me, it's about trying to experience as much as you can. And I came to the realization that we need a sustainable business. We need a sustainable income, because you're limited. And having grown up in that kind of keep your head below, money doesn't grow on trees, or all of that sort of stuff, 100%. And when I went back to teaching, sometimes we've got to take a step back to remind us once again why we're on this pathway and why we keep searching and why we keep going. And it was that experience. It's like, I am stuck on the motorway for an hour. I'm stuck on the motorway coming back for an hour. And that's not what I want, but I want to be able to take my family to adventures. I call them adventures because I'm all about an adventure, whether it be in a personal or a business or a family adventure. And that I work with people currently that are in that boat, as you say. They're stuck. They can't see the wood for the trees.
Right.
All they can do is worry and stress and keep doing the same things. They keep thinking about and talking about what about, there must be something, but they're not willing to go and open their horizons, or they don't know how to.
Right.
And
I was just going to say that. Yeah. How to. Yeah.
And for me, that's one reason I started building a platform to connect experts with members to help people. And I suddenly realized that I'd be pushing this thing and there wouldn't be any tangible, practical way for people to move forward, particularly with their freedom goal, their financially free, their financially driven desires and dreams. And it suddenly felt like it was my agenda. So I had to go back and think about all the things that I wanted for myself, my family, and what really was my purpose. And I've been on this quest of what is my purpose for many, many years, and it's changed. And I think it's fine to change. You've got to choose one thing. But what I realized is that freedom is my ultimate purpose, and whatever comes along that aligns and is synchronized with that, whether it be financial or physical or emotional, relational, that's worth pursuing. I can give that, and it may not ultimately foster that ultimate purpose, but there is no goal, because we just keep evolving. And for me, I suddenly allowed that idea of, alongside my family, I can keep evolving this purpose to something that is going to get bigger and greater and make a bigger impact. And for me, it's about I've allowed myself finally to say it's okay to want to make an impact. It's okay to
Absolutely.
want to bring people along with you. It's okay to stand for something that you believe in and are passionate about. So that's kind of what's driving it. And it's taken me recently, the last sort of 3 months of just going, everything's got to stop as much as I possibly can and really sit with this and wait to see what comes out of it. And it's been interesting because when we start focusing right down here in that bit of ourselves that we get disconnected with, we start to get the answers. And I was
That's right.
looking for the answers outside for a long time and thinking I could give the answers to people who are also looking. And actually, you've got to go on that journey yourself.
You're absolutely correct. And you know what, it's about finding that purpose and what is the true meaning behind that purpose, because really talking to a number of people, many people, it's really about the betterment of humanity. You know, what can we do to help the betterment of humanity? Because there is a lot of anger, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of distrust out there. And we those of us who are out there, like yourself and myself and so many others, are we are providing an avenue to get people to open up, to be receptive to getting information that is not in mainstream media, or is pushing people away in mainstream media to say, oh no, I that sounds like a scam, it sounds like whatever the case may be. But understand that there are really great opportunities out there for people to get out of the rut that they're in, because they're just sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what happened to me initially with my health, getting off of 5 medications when my doctor said, well, you have to be on medicines for the rest of your life. And you talk about, passing that generation to generation. I cut that type 2 diabetes in my generation because my father died of type 2 diabetes and tons of complications. His sister did, his brother did. And I'm like, I don't want to be the next in the family. So, it's that finding that purpose. And, what I'm going to do is take a quick commercial break here. We'll come back with Finn to wrap up. But we talk about that purpose and that driven, meaning and behind. And I mentioned that I'm a global ambassador for a high-tech company that is utilizing the technologies of today that are going to be changing the world in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years down the road for everybody. And those of us who are in the know, just like Finn with what he's doing, excuse me, we're in the know now of these technologies that are evolving. And there is ground opportunities for people getting in. As I always say, the early bird always gets the biggest worm, but it depends on what worm you want to eat and resonate with, because some worms you eat them and other worms you spit them out. But that's the thing. We're here to provide that global mission of people that want to get out of that rut. So with that, I'm going to do a quick, short commercial break about what I do as a global ambassador, because as Finn says, we've just opened up in the United States as well. So there's a lot of opportunity out there for those that are looking for it. And I'm going to say this now, I'm also involved and a participant in Finn's business because I'm passionate about the environment. I was down in the Amazon rainforest planting trees after these corporations went in and obliterated these lands, ripping down the trees to drill for oil. So that was my initial start with renewable energy and the passion for the environment. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back with Finn Kellow-Webb from the other side of the pond. And let's just jump right in with the question about you being the founder of Amplify Company and what really prompted you to create the company, and share with our viewers what that is really all about. And then I want to jump into the sustainable program that you're involved with.
Cool. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I wanted to create, a bit like yourself, wanted to create something where you can inform people, because there's so much information out there.
Right.
And people are either confused, overwhelmed, skeptical. And I wanted to connect people with experts, financial wealth experts, holistic experts, mental health, nutrition, all of that, and bring it all into one place, but make it really affordable. Yes, it is a membership platform. And my thing has always been about trying to not make more, be more, but it's just turn up the volume on whatever aspect of your life. And that's the approach I've taken on my own life, multiple back surgeries, heart surgery, all of those things. And it's what I found best was just really turning up the dial a little bit, amplifying what's inside of us incrementally. Nice. So Amplify Co is all about collaboration, cooperation, community, and ultimately that is where I'm going to be. That's my kind of overall philosophy. And anything I get involved with, people that I cooperate with, collaborate with, joint ventures, come under this Amplify Co, where we can all amplify together who we are, what that whole thing you talk about is make an impact on humanity. So that's kind of the big goal to get that established. But in the meantime, I'm working on more specific projects like you are, to get that off the ground.
Super. Well, that's great. And I know it's going to be very, very successful because your heart is really into it. You're passionate about it. And, I find that people who are passionate about what they have to offer and what they want to share, it just really emits that energy for other people to, either embrace it or not embrace it, as I said, because as we know, whatever we do, what you're doing, what I'm doing is not for everybody. But knowing that passion, and I talked about the sustainability program that I went down to the rainforest, but I also led over 20 sustainable U.S. cleanups. And one of them was actually a scuba diving cleanup, which was really, really exciting. But, your whole program is around the massive devastation of the plastics, the plastic pollution that is, global, but, really in the oceans that impact primarily the animals, but also the people. Talk about that amazing, unique program that you are, educating people about, which I highly recommend, by the way. So go ahead.
Sure. Well, I'm a partner with the world's largest plastic recycling corporation. Okay, they have the infrastructure, the furnaces, which using a system called pyrolysis converts plastic back into its original form. It's advanced bio-oil. Okay, so creating a circular economy, they can then sell that oil back to the plastic manufacturers. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, and there's literally zero environmental consequence of doing that recycling. They are collecting plastic from landfills, from fishermen in Thailand, from hotels all over the place, and they are recycling this plastic. And in return, they are creating a digital receipt that you receive, and that is proof. So there's no greenwashing, and it is, something that for me, I think that people want to have proof, and that digital receipt then lives on the blockchain, and it can be redeemed on the open market. So we can sit at home, we can pay for a plastic recycling service, we can receive a receipt that proves that we've done it, we've spent the money, and we can get a return on that, which is just a win-win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
And the most exciting thing is that you've got communities now in slum cities collecting plastic, getting paid for it, getting paid well for it. That plastic is going to recycling center, and more of these recycling centers. It's not just, you have to go out and collect this amount of rubbish. Every time I put a bit of plastic into my recycling bin, part of me knows that is not going to end up being properly recycled.
Right.
But I know that I've offset my plastic use because I've contributed to plastic recycling. We are nowhere near what we need to. In the next 10 years, we're producing 50% more plastic than we are currently now.
Wow.
Okay. And these recycling machines, so this is an industrial company, but it also has a business element or a service element to the side of it. One machine can produce nearly 1 million liters of recycled plastic.
Wow.
A year. So we need one in every city, in every country, and they're working with governments around the world, because this is not the ultimate. I don't believe that the solution is to get rid of plastic, because it does so much damage to the environment, to humans. We literally, the size of a credit card is the amount of plastic we consume every year. It's in the deepest trenches of the ocean in the sea life down there. They found it. So plastic doesn't biodegrade. It just breaks down and becomes smaller and smaller and smaller.
Right. Yeah.
But if you can, this is for me as the best next solution is to recycle, so we get a circular economy. Okay, it's a bit like recycling wood and recycling glass and metal. And the more corporations that buy into this, so they can show their customers, their clients, we are plastic neutral, we are plastic free, it's going to be a bonus to them. And they're contributing to cleaning up the plastic that's floating in the oceans, that's in rivers, that's kicking around our streets.
Yes, absolutely.
And, that just spoke to me, and I wanted, it's a great saying, we don't inherit the earth, we borrow it from our children. And when I saw that quote, it's from an ancient Native American chief, that hit me, because my kids, they know about plastic, they know about recycling, they know about environmental damage. And I thought, right, this is something I can get involved with, and I don't have to go and pick up plastic all over the place. I can literally click of a button, I can order plastic to be recycled. So we order the plastic to be recycled, and anybody can do it from anywhere in the world.
That's awesome. And, it's such a good program. And as we're getting close to wrapping up here, for those, as I'm going to ask Finn one last question here, but in the scroll bar at the bottom, you can reach out to him on Facebook, and he'll send you information to start getting educated. And I look at this as a real world asset. We're involved with it, and it's everything is turning into real world assets. Plastics being recycled to go back to oil, and then selling it back to the companies, and just go. It's that vicious circle, the wonderful circle of recycling, but for a good purpose, and we can participate in that. So my last question for you before we kind of close out here is, if there was one nugget, one piece of advice that you could really share with the viewers here who are looking for that, that next level up, whether it's in their personal life, their business life, or a combination of both, who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, what would that actually be?
We've all heard these ones, never give up on your dreams and your goals. I've recently come up with something called the dandelion philosophy. Now, I don't know in the States if you've got a dandelion flower.
We do.
But, and they grow out of the road. They grow out of concrete. They grow everywhere, anywhere, and nothing seems to be able to stop them. And whenever I see a dandelion now, I think of the dandelion as me, because they work hard to get through the ground, through the most challenging environments. And then at the culmination of that effort and pursuit and nature taking its course, there's this beautiful yellow flower that radiates just abundance. And everybody has that. Everybody has the dandelion philosophy inside of them. As long as they keep going and taking that next step, that resilience, that determination, that belief in who you are and who you're meant to be. So, don't just say, I must never give up. Think of that dandelion. You are the dandelion. It starts from nothing pretty much, and it works its way through the harshest environments. We'll all go through it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you will radiate that beautiful, bright yellow dandelion. So that's my little tip.
Awesome. I love the dandelion analogy there, because we do have dandelions over here. Plus, dandelions is a very, very healthy. I drink dandelion tea.
Yeah.
So it's very good for your health in many, many respects. But as we are, kind of wrapping up here, as I mentioned, I'm a global ambassador for this international digital real estate company who is really utilizing the technologies of real tech, fintech, edtech, AI, and the metaverse. And again, it is really taking the technologies of today that are going to be revolutionizing the future in 3 to 5 to 10 years, but they're already doing it now. And just like Finn, with what he's got going on from a sustainability and a plastic recycling, we've got this, a similar model in regards to that financial, wealth and that legacy driving force for people in the future, because it's about unique opportunities, just like Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, and Apple did back in their day. With the technologies that are being developed today, we're at the ground level here. Decentralization, real world assets, digital real estate, metaverse, different types of opportunities. So I do 5 monthly webinars educating people about this technology and to give them some insight with regards to these technologies, just from a very, very simplistic perspective. And just like what Finn is doing, what I'm doing, you don't want to miss out, because we're the pioneers. And, as pioneers have in the past, I recommend you, or I highly suggest, to keep an open mind and think about the unlimited possibilities that lie ahead for you, being a parent, being a grandparent, or being a young individual who is looking to start a family, so forth and so on. But, and he goes back to the holistic aspect of it. Holistic true wealth is about balance and harmony across all disciplines, which is something that I truly embrace and teach, because as the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness, as I said earlier, I believe we all should be living a life of abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And by embracing these holistic approaches and these unique approaches, we can achieve a state of all well-being. And that is sustainable and fulfilling and leading us to our best lives ever. So with that, I thank you, Finn, for joining the show today. I look forward to continuing building our relationships, learning more about your project, what you have to offer. And I encourage others to reach out to Finn as well. And see you on the inside next time. Take care, everybody.
You thought I was playing? Huh. I was playing? Huh.